Hello friends, in my first video, I have shown you how to crack coding round in a software engineering interview. Today, I'm going to show you um, how to build a AI/ML project on a serverless architecture. And this project you can use in any interview, whether you're interviewing for a senior role or a mid-senior role or a junior level role. So today, I'm going to show you how to build a, an AI ML project by using serverless Lambda function. So in AWS, we have two services. So first one is Amazon Transcribe that is we are going to use today. Transcribe is basically a service. It's a speech recognition service which uses the machine learning model to convert audio to text. Basically, it's like MP3 can be converted into text, and there is like many use cases we have seen in practical life. So some of the use cases are listed in the AWS official document, like we can get uh, customer call analytics data. We can also use that in subtitles. We have seen all the movies where we have seen subtitles. So basically, that also works in the same way where transcribe is converting the audio or MP3 to a text. So there are many use cases you can read if you're interested. And the second service we are going to use is Amazon Translate. This service also uses the machine learning technology and is also in very high quality and is on demand. So, like for example, you have seen in Google Translator where we translate English to some different language, Chinese to English, Japanese to English. So basically, this is also a service which uses the machine learning technology. So we are going to use these two services, and then we are going to use Lambda function, which is serverless. So we are going to use the Lambda, and we are going to build a automated pipeline. So let's get started. Uh, so we, I will show you the architecture. So this is the architecture. So what we have seen here, we'll be having two S3 bucket. One will be the source S3 bucket, and the second will be the target S3 bucket. Is the final S3 bucket, and we will have Amazon Transcribe, which is basically transcribe is basically it takes the audio file from the source bucket, and then it will convert the audio file into text, and then it will put the text file into the target s3, which is basically the transcripted file. And then the another lambda will take that. The lambda will be the Amazon Translate lambda, which will take the transcript file from this target s3 bucket, and then it will translate to a different language, and then it will it will upload the final file on the target s3 bucket. So if we want to explain this is like a simple project in an interview, what we can say, like say for example, you are working on a call center company, and then you have to like build, say for example, you have a data analytics engineer, or you are working with a data analytics engineer for a company which has a global call center. And then the use case is will be something like that. The company is getting the transcript file from all over the world, and they are getting the transcript file. Basically, they are using the transcribe to 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 get the transcript file for all audio. So call center companies, they use to um, audit their transcript for their customer service or customer satisfaction. So they get all the transcript file in in a automated way, and then they can convert that transcript file into a single language, which will be the English language, and then they can use their internal house built application to analyze all the translated file, and then provide the customer feedback, and then they can improve their process. So this is something we can explain. I'll also mention the explanation or the use case in my GitHub, so you can refer that. And now we are gonna get started with the building phase. So I'm already in my AWS console, and I have the cloud formation here, which is basically creates the infrastructure. uh, I'm gonna go through the cloud formation template, which is in GitHub. And if you see this cloud formation template, what it is doing, so basically it's creating a S3 bucket. So it's creating two S3 bucket. As per architecture, it's creating two S3 buckets. So one is the source and the other one is the target. And then it's creating a Lambda role. As you know, we need to create a Lambda role, and give a specific policy, attach a specific policy to for the Lambda to execute. So we are creating a Lambda role, and then we are also attaching some manage policy. So we are giving the S3 full access to this role, and then we are also giving the full access to the transcribe function, and we are giving full access to the CloudWatch. So basically the CloudWatch for login, and also we are giving full access to the translate. So if we see the architecture, so you are seeing that these two Lambda function we are going to use. So whatever the role we are creating, the role needs to have full access for the S3 bucket, and also the role needs to have the full access for transcribe Lambda, transcribe function, and the transcribe and the translate function. So that's way we can call the transcribe and translate function through this Lambda. So these are the four policy we are attaching, and also you can see I have mentioned a stack cloud formation stack ID, which is I'm joining and creating a unique name for the resource. So basically, if you are creating a bucket name, the cloud formation might fail because maybe this bucket is already existed, because as you know, the S3 bucket is global, so you have to have a unique name. So for that, what happens whenever you run CloudFormation, there will be a system generated unique ID, which is called a stack ID. So what I'm doing, I'm joining that stack ID with the name of the resource name, so that our final resource name will be unique. So our bucket name will be unique. So if you're running multiple times, every time it will create a new bucket with the suffix, the stack ID number of the CloudFormation. So this is a trick here. So we are creating role, and then we are creating the first Lambda, which is basically the transcribe Lambda, and we are doing the same thing here. Attaching we are adding the stake ID here. So this is also we are doing the same thing here, and then we are finally once the Lambda function, so we are also creating the Lambda function. So we are giving the code in the Lambda in the cloud formation itself. So under the zip file section, there are two ways to do that. You can do in this way, or you can also do upload your Lambda code in the S3 and then refer this Lambda code or path, the S3 bucket name and the path of your Lambda code in the cloud formation. But anyway, it's a small program, so I'm just referring here. It's a straightforward. I'll explain the Lambda later when we execute it. And then we are creating a different Lambda, which is basically a translate Lambda, and we are attaching the same role what we created earlier. So that's all this cloud formation is doing. And then we are writing some output, which is basically the bucket name, the target bucket name. So I'm gonna take this code, and then we're gonna run this one. So I'm gonna copy this content, and I'll go to the console in cloud formation. So this is the cloud formation, and we'll create stack. Since just one cloud formation template we have, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create in the designer, and create in the designer. Then here I just go to the template, and I remove this content, paste my cloud formation template here. So you can see here, this is the template I just pasted, the same one. I have not made any changes. And then I'm gonna validate that. So once it's validated, so the template is valid, it says what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just create the stack. Also, this I has been uploaded in the S3 bucket. Next, I can give a name. So AI ML project, that's my name, or let's go in the lowercase, and then I will select all the default option. I'm not going to change anything here since I have the admin right. I log in with my admin user. So all the option is default, and I'm select this acknowledge and then submit. So this is going to create our infrastructure, basically two S3 bucket, two Lambda, and one role. So let it create, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, so the cloud formation is run fine. So you can see the status creation complete. Event is also showing completed. Let's see the resources. So I see the resource has been created. So we have two Lambda function. One is transcribe function and the other one is translate function. And we have two S3 bucket. One is transcript source and the other one is transcript target. And we have one Lambda resource. So let's go into the first Lambda function. And as per our architecture, if we see our architectures, let's see what our architecture is saying. Okay, so this one is our architecture. So as per our architecture, so first of all, this will be an event trigger automation, event trigger project. So what is happening, as soon as we upload any audio file in S3, this will trigger the lambda, which will be the first lambda, transcribe lambda. The function of the transcribe lambda, once it gets triggered, it will take the audio file from S3 and then it will convert or create a text file, which is a transcript, and will push it to the target S3 bucket. Once the target S3 bucket will have transcript file, then it will also create an event which will trigger the Amazon Translate Lambda. Basically, that will take the transcript file which got created in the previous step, and this transcript file will be converted or translated into a different language, and the final file will be uploaded to the target S3 bucket. So once that entire process is done, then we'll be able to get, or we'll be able to have the final file, which will be the translated transcript. So for example, if I have a Chinese audio or Japanese audio, and I wanna convert that into an English text file. So what I'll do, I'll upload the audio file, Chinese or Japanese, in this source S3 bucket, and this automation will take care of all the tasks, and finally I'll be able to get the file, text file, which will be in the English. And that's with what we're gonna see now. So now I'm gonna go and go over the transcribe function. So you see the transcribe function we have here. Basically here we need to create an event. So first thing we'll have to do, we have to add a trigger. The trigger will be through S3. So S3 source S3 will be the trigger, and we have transcript source. So this will be our trigger bucket. Then we need to have all the object create event, so that is fine. And basically we know all the files which are mp3 or audio file. First, like in this architecture, we are going to support only mp3 file for now. So what we can do, any file which has the suffix of .mp3 will create an event, and that event will trigger the lambda, and then we are good. So we can create this event here. So the trigger is created, and now the next task will be, we have to see the code. there is one slight thing we have to change here. As you see, the source bucket is getting here by the trigger, and now we have S3 path we have given here. The same thing, the file will be appended with the name transcript.json. So basically what happens whenever so this lambda is basically calling the transcribe function through the boto3 package. And when it's calling the function, what it is doing, basically it will run the transcript job. So it will start the transcript job, and basically it will take the file from the S3 bucket, and then it will create a JSON file. So it will take the MP3 file from the S3 bucket, and it will create a JSON file, JSON object, which is basically a text object of that same S3 file, a MP3 file. So say for example, if you have a Japanese MP3 file, then you will get a file which will be a text file in Japanese, and that will be a JSON file. So we are doing that. The next thing we have to modify here the bucket name. So the reference is not updated. So the bucket name, the output bucket will be our target bucket name. That is, let's see what is our target bucket name. So we can see our target bucket name. Let's go in the S3 console, and we take our target bucket name. So we have target bucket name is this one. This will be our, so this is where we have to update one thing here. So let's add target bucket here. So now we have added target bucket, and we are creating a trigger with the source bucket. So we are good to go here. Let's deploy this. So our first function is done. Let's check the second function, which is the translate. So here the translate is taking care of the transcript file. So now we say, for example, we have the Chinese audio file, and we got the Chinese transcript file, text file, through the transcribe lambda. Now we need to translate that Chinese text file to English text file. So this translate will take care of the second part. So basically it will get, so we need to create a trigger for this one also. And as per our architecture, the trigger will be the file in target S3 bucket. So as soon as this transcribe function pushes the transcript file on target S3 bucket, it should trigger the translate lambda. So as we have seen, the transcribe function is creating a JSON file. So in this case, when we create a trigger, what we have to do, we have to create a trigger with S3 bucket, and the trigger will be the target bucket. So as soon as there is a file in the target bucket, what kind of file? It should be a transcript file, and we know the transcript file is a JSON file. So we need to mention that. So that should be just suffixed with a JSON file. So as soon as we see a JSON file is there uploaded by the transcript function, lambda function, then it will trigger this translate lambda, and this lambda will take the JSON file, the transcript file, and convert into a different language text file. So this will be our trigger for the second lambda. This trigger is done, and let's see the code. Let's go to our second lambda function, that's the translate. So if you see the translate, this is also where we are appending the final file with the translated text that will be get pushed in the final S3 bucket, target S3 bucket. And if you see, this is also, so this is basically doing the same thing like the transcribe is running the it's calling the function translate job, and then it's running the translate job. So basically translating the text from one language to other language. The source code we have given auto, so that way it will able to detect whether the file is in uh, English, Japanese, Chinese. So whatever the supported language it has, it can convert that supported language into English, because that's where is the target language code, which is English. So basically, this is all it's doing, taking that JSON object or file from the target bucket, that transcripted file, and then it's converting into, that is taking the text from that JSON object, and then that text is converting into the different language. So basically, this is where you see that translation is happening. Once the translation is happening, then we are getting the translated text from the JSON object in this one, this variable, and then we are writing this variable into the S3 bucket. So this is our body, and then we are writing it to the target S3 bucket in the output file. So that's all. One thing I would like to add in the first one, which we have missed. So basically, here we need to have the identity identify language, which is basically true. True means it can automatically detect what kind of language the audio file is coming. So, like say for example, whether the file is Japanese, Chinese, or Korean, any language. Instead of giving a specific code, we can use true. That way, it will automatically detect. So, in that case, we don't need to worry about the source language of the audio file. So now we are all set. We can start run a test and see how that goes. So for that, we have to go in the S3 S3 bucket. So we can upload any file on the source S3. So there are two ways to do that. Either we can do through through the console, or I prefer to do with CLI. So that's also you will be able to see how we can upload a file through CLI. So let me pull my terminal, and here we are. So let's see. So basically, what we can do, I have my I have a Chinese transcript MP3, which I'm gonna upload in the source bucket, which is my this is the source bucket name, and the command is what we do. The CLI, I already have the set up the AWS configure. Once you have the AWS configure, you can access this with this CLI. You can access the uh, AWS resources. So what I'm doing, just S3 copy CP copy my local file into this source bucket. So let's see. So it's copying now. The file upload is done. Let's see, the file upload is done. We can refresh and see. So here we go. The file is uploaded. Now our Lambda should get triggered, and then we'll be able to see the source and the target file. So let's go and see what's going on in the Lambda. So we have two functions. So first is to trigger the first one. So we can either monitor from here, we'll be able to see, or this should be pretty fast, or we can just go and check whether we have a file in our target bucket. So let's see, target bucket. So our target bucket, this one. So we see we got a file. So this, so see, it's so fast. So now we got a file in the target bucket, which is the transcript JSON. So basically, the transcribe lambda converted the audio file into this transcript file, and then we got a translated file, which is basically the English text of this audio file. So we can we can download both and see. So for this, we can download, and so this is our text. So this is our text file. So this is the text file of our Chinese MP3. This is the text file in English. So this is the way, this is the best example to showcase, like if you have worked on any AI ML service, that will be easy for you to understand. If you're not, if you have not worked on that, then I'll mention the link in my description in my video. You can refer that link, and I'll also mention my GitHub link here. You can go through that and try it out. Don't forget to clean up your resources once you are done. To clean up any resources. Okay, so before we clean up, I want to show you the next the previous file also, which is basically the, this will be a Chinese text file. I'll not be able to understand, but at least we can have a look. So this is, you can see, this is the transcript file of the Chinese audio. Um, I can't understand what is that, but yeah, something look like. So this is the transcript section. You see the transcript section where the transcription happened, and that's from there the translated function is taking and then translating into the English. So I hope that will be clear. Don't forget to clean your resource. Cleaning is very easy. Just you have to go to the cloud formation back, and you go to the cloud formation. Basically, always good practice to delete all your resources once you're done with any lab, and you just delete. Select the stack which you ran, and then delete it. So it will delete and clean up all the resources, so you'll not get any surprises. So I hope you like this video, and it's very simple and straightforward AI/ML project using AWS transcribe and translate function. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and also let me know if you want to see more videos like that in future. Thank you very much for watching my video.